Now, after you boot the Volnix machine, and you are on the same network, the bridge network, boot up your Kali Linux. Now, let's start with sudo net discover to search for the machine. Now, I can stop the search. You can see that here it is. So, we will start with nmap-a for aggressive and put the IP address. Now, let's wait a little bit. Okay, now after we have done the search, you can see that there are a lot of ports open, like SSH, SMTP, the Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, and this is something we will use right away because as you can see, we can use the verify to check the username. Don't worry, we'll have it next right away. We have the finger, we have POP3, we have some ports as you can see, and finally we have the NFS. Okay, all right. Now the first thing, let's use telnet, the IP address, and then let's put the port 25, which is the SMTP. Yeah, you can see that we are able to connect. Now if I type verify, oh, actually let's see how it is written. Now this is, by the way, this is from the standard or RFC for the SMTP. You can find it. That SMTP use a lot of commands like verify, return, start, TTS, whatever. So the verify, VRFY, and put X, for example, for the user. You can see that the reception address rejected, user unknown. So this can be used for getting or give some information from the system. So if I type Volnix, oh, you can see it returned successfully. So which means that this user exists in the system. All right, so far so good. All right, now we will use another. You can quit from it, Ctrl Z. As you can see, it is not working. Let's open a new tab, no problem. Now, as you can see from the previous search of nmap, that the NFS is opened. So I will use mount, show mount, the command -e. As you can see, by the way, if I type man and show mount, you can see show mount information for NFS server. And -e here, it will be for the export. Show the NFS servers export list. So this is where that when you mount this will be mounted. Okay. So if I type mount or show mounts, actually show mount as one word -e, the IP address, press enter. You can see that, yeah, here is the export list for the IP address /home/Volnix and star for every type or method. Okay, so far so good. Now this means that if I type or try to mount it, the mount using the mount command -f for -t for the type, and it will be NFS, and then with the IP address /home/Volnix, and then we put it inside a directory. So actually let's open a new tab. Let's make sudo dir /data. Okay, yeah, I already created this directory /data. Then I will put it inside /data like that. By the way, we have a problem now because this needs a sudo permission. Okay, yeah. So if I type ls/data, yeah, now we are able, you can see, cannot open the directory, but we already have it. So if I type ls-l/ and then let's grab the data, you can see that, yeah, it has been mounted here, but the username is nobody, and the group here is some number. So if I search, actually I search about it, why it is showing this number when we mount specific NFS directory or NFS file system. And the reason for that is to mount with version. Okay, so let's unmount again, unmount and /data with sudo permission. I forget about it. Okay, clear the screen. If I type, now the ls data is empty, which is not mounted. So this time I will mount, of course, with sudo. I almost forget. Yeah, -t for the type NFS, but this time I will use -o as option and verge which is version, equal 3. Okay, this was the solution after I read some articles. So put the IP address, home, volnix, and let's put that inside the data. So if I type this, and if I type ls-l again grep data, oh, you can see this time it is not unknown or whatever. This time it is 2008 and 2008 here. Okay, so which means that we have a user ID and group ID, which is as expected or as something normal. Can I try to go to it? So if I cd data, or actually I need root permission, so sudo su dash to go root permission, cd data, yeah, still permission denied. So what is the solution for this? So if you saw from here, from the ls grep data, you can see that, yeah, actually I need to go to the ls like this. Yeah, you can see that only this user and this user can go to it. So if you see read, write, execute for the owner, which is this one, read, execute for the group, as you can see, but the others, which is the root, any other user, are not allowed. So a quick solution for this is to create this user on inside our machine. By the way, this is something mounted from the vulnerable machine or Volnix machine. Okay, so we want to get to the data after we mount it, but we are not able. How to be enabled? We need to create this user with this UID and this GID, and it will consider it that it is correct. Okay, let's start with the group. So sudo, or actually we are root, so group add -h to see what is the options. You can see we will put the -g for GID. We don't need any arbitrary GID or UID, user ID. We need those for the system to understand it is for those. Okay, so group add -g 2008, and then let's name it Volnix, for example, or actually Volnix G as a group. Yeah. Now let's put user add this time -u again for the user ID 2008 -g for the group, which is Volnix G, and the user will be Volnix. Okay, like this. So yeah, so this time after we created the user, let's check if it is created. Password, yeah, here it is. The user here x 2000. And the group is this one. I think I forget about, I made a mistake here, right? Group add, no, I didn't. No, let's check the group, etc. Groups, or group actually. Yeah, the Volnix group, it is 2008. Yeah, but the group for this one is 2000, for the Volnix user, I mean, is 2009. Because by default, after creating a user, it will be a default group will be created for it with a different GID, whatever. Okay. Now, if I type ls grep data again, oh, this time it is not showing for anything. It is showing for not for 2008. It is for 2000 for Volnix and Volnix G group. So if I try to go if I try to go to the data, still I cannot access it. So let's go to the Volnix. Yeah, right now I am, as you can see, who am I? I am the Volnix user. So if I try to go to the data, oh, this time I am able to access it, as you can see. If I BWD, yeah, I am inside the data. So which means I am able to access it. Okay, now this is for which user? For the Volnix user. Okay, now we want to have SSH access. As we saw from the nmap, we are able to connect to SSH. The port is open, so we need to create, you know that SSH how it works. We have a directory called .ssh inside the home directory of the user. We are going to connect to or to access it. So we have it here. Let's create it inside ls-la, as you can see, inside the mounted device. Go to it. Yeah, we are inside it. Now let's make this file authorized underscore keys. Now let's vim it. Actually, I preferred to have it here. Here inside it, we will put the public key that will be used to connect to this machine with using the Volnex user. So I will go to my machine, local machine. By the way, this is on my local machine still. We are still on our local machine, on the Kali Linux machine, not the Volnex machine. But we mounted the Volnex NFS network file system here, and you are editing it here, okay? Because after all, it is a mounted device through the network. Okay, now let's go to our SSH here. You can see that we don't have any public private key pair. So SSH dash keygen to key generation, enter, ls. You can see that we have the key pair now. Now let's cat the public key, and here you can see this public key provided here, okay? We're inside the authorized keys, okay? So now if I type ls, you can see authorized key is here. Let's copy paste it, see here. Yeah, actually we are here, okay? Cool, so far so good. Now if I try to go SSH Volnex, the name of the user we are trying to connect to, the IP address of that machine, and actually it is, I think it is here. Sorry, I forget about the numbers. Yeah. Dash I, which is the private key we are using, which is ID RSA. Press enter. Yes. Yeah. We are able to connect, but still it asked for password. So press enter. It is not working. So Volnex to see. No, it is not working. No problem. Let me try delete the dash I option like that. Yeah. Again, let's remove this. It's still not working. Yeah, because you know why? Because actually I provided the wrong username here. I made a mistake here. It is Volnex, not Vonlex. So Volnex right now, yeah, it is working 100%. Now we are SSH'd through the network to the machine. Now this is not on my local machine. This is on the Volnex machine. So sudo dash, let's try. Yeah, it will not work because it asked for password, and the password actually we don't have it. How did we manage to connect? Because through the SSH, through the key. So we, as you can see here, it is the authorized keys. Yeah, so because we provided the public key here, it worked. So this is a public key based authentication, not password authentication. Okay, so what should we do now? Let's try looking into the machine. The first thing we do actually is the sudo dash l. This is to list what are the commands are allowed for this user to run. As you can see, user Volnex may run the following command in this host. The sudo edit. As you can see, this is runs as root, and we can able to edit the etc export and the root no password, and sudo edit this file. By the way, this file is responsible for the exports list for the NFS. Remember when we type the show mount dash e, then provide the IP address, this, and we show, remember here, let's show it again, no problem. Show mount dash e, the IP address, actually it's 111. Yeah, it showed us the /home Volnex star. So when we mounted this, we mounted it the home Volnex directory. So when we mounted here actually, and we modified the public key, authorized key, this was mounted for the home Volnex. So this is the export list, so which is where it will be mounted. Now here, the Volnex, as you can see, we are able to using it and editing it using a root, because by the way, if I try to go /etc exports, you can see that I'm able to read it, but I am not able, as you can see, read only here. So if I try to go to put something like /, like for the root user, which is for the whole system, you can see that, yeah, it is for read only. If I type this, no, it is not working. And if we try to sudo vim etc export, it will ask for password, and that is not found. So for that, we will use sudo edit etc exports. Press enter. Yeah, now we are able to access it. So here, actually, I don't want to mount this home volnix because it is useless. We want to mount the slash like that for the root user. And here you can see root squash. We can use no root squash, no underscore root squash. Press X, save it, yes. Now, if I open it again, yeah, you can see that it is for the root this time. Okay, so let me quit from this machine, actually, from here, from the volnix. Now, if I type lsblk, you can see that we are, or actually df-h, you can see that we are mounting this onto the data. But you can see that home volnix. So now unmount it. By the way, yeah, let's unmount it for now. With sudo, of course. Now df-h, yeah, it is not here anymore. Now let's mount it again using the same user. So here actually yeah, here it is. So mount sudo mount nfs version 3, this IP address of the machine. Now this time it will not be home volnix. This time we want it to be slash, then slash data. Now you may ask me why we didn't try it from in the first place. No, it will not work because you saw how the export list, it was slash home volnix. Otherwise it will not work. So you can see that, yeah, you can see access denied by server. Now let me try show mount again. Show mount -e, the IP address. You can see that it is still slash home volnix. So that's why it didn't work. So the reason for that, actually, we need to restart the machine. The volnix here, you can see, we can just from here and reset it, as you can see from here. Yeah. Now, again, if I try this command, the show mounts, mount -e, the IP address. Yeah, you can see this time it is slash. All right, cool. Now, let's mount it. So, by the way, if I tap df-h, mount it, you can see it is not found. Mount it, mount, again, the same command we used previously, -t, nfs, -o, version equal 3, the IP address. By the way, I restarted the machine, so the IP address has been changed. Now this time it will be slash, and let's put it onto data. So ls-grep data. Okay, make dir data again. Yeah, now let's mount again. All right, so ls-grep data, cd data, or cd/data, I mean, ls. Oh, you can see that this time we are able to connect. So if I go to the root, ls, yeah, cat trophy. Yeah, we are able to get this. By the way, to have an SSH connection here, from here, ls-la, just make a directory like we did previously, SSH, and just touch the authorized key, provide the public key, and we are able to connect. So let's do this actually, real quick, no problem. So cd.sh. By the way, we are still on the local machine here, but this is mounted, but this time on another directory, not home volnix, it is a slash, as we did previously, but because we did change it, by the way. So from here, touch authorized keys, vimit, and let's provide the public key for our machine. And put it here. Yeah, cool, so far so good. Now this time I will use this the same command, but this time I will not use the Volnex user. I will use the root user. So root like that. Sorry, I made a mistake, typo here. Root like that. Yeah, you can see, yeah, we are able to connect through the system this time. Cat trophy, and yeah, here is the flag. So as you can see, the machine is not hard, and the same thing, it's not easy. It has a lot of technology, it has a lot of tools, methods, some technologies like SMTP and the NFS technology, of course using some utilities. All right.